Students, we are going to revise the structure of prokaryotic cell. So you all are supposed to draw this diagram in your running notes. So in case of structure of prokaryotic cell, first we will study the external appendages which are present on the surface of the prokaryotic cell. So these external appendages are flagella, fimri and pili. So first of all we are going to learn the structure of flagella. So you can see in the diagram that this is the structure of flagella, which consists of filament, hook and basal body. So whip like helical structure which is present at the outer side of the bacterial cell is known as a filament. So this filament, the movement of this filament helps the bacterial cell to locomote from one place to another place. Then next is the hooks. This hook hold the filament and attach the filament to the rod portion of the basal body. Third part of the flagella is the basal body. This basal body is a complex structure which consists of the 4 rings and one rod and motor. This complete structure of basal body is present inside the cell envelope. Next is the fimri. Fimri is a small hair-like structures which are present on the surface of the cell, and this fimri-like structure helps to stick the bacteria to any firm solid surface. Next is the pilus. The difference between fimri and pilus is little bit shorter as compared to fimri and more thick as compared to the thickness of the fimri. So pilus is a elongated tubular structure which only present on the certain gram negative bacteria. Primarily it involves in the attachment, movement and conjugation also. So what is conjugation? It is a transfer of DNA from one bacterium to the another. The DNA, the copy of DNA which get transferred because of the process of conjugation is a plasmid DNA. Then in case of cellular envelope, it consists of capsule or glycocalyx, middle cell wall and innermost plasma membrane. In case of glycocalyx, which is the outermost layer, it is also known as a capsule layer. In few bacterial cell, this glycocalyx is very thin, which is with the slimy layer, whereas in few bacterial cell, the glycocalyx is very thick and tough, which is known as a capsule. So glycocalyx refers to a gel-like outermost covering present in the some bacteria. There are two types, one is slimy layer and capsule. So two types of glycocalyx are the slimy layer and capsule. Capsule is the tough structure and slimy layer is the thin structure of the carbohydrates. So these glycocalyx are completely made up with the carbohydrate structures, and these carbohydrates are responsible for absorption of the water and it becomes sticky, and this glycocalyx like structure cell envelope helps the bacterial cell to stick to the firm surface. So protection, it provides the protection against the phagocytosis also. Phagocytosis means when this bacterial cell enters in any human body, we will take the example of human body. At that time, this bacterial cell will get identified by the antibodies which are present inside the human, but that is known as a phagocytosis, the killing of that particular bacterial cell when it get recognized by the immune system as a foreign particle. But these kind of capsule structures, these kind of carbohydrate containing slimy layers or capsules helps the bacterial cell as a protection against the process of phagocytosis. Encapsulated bacteria tend to have a greater pathogenicity because of this. So gram positive bacteria are more pathogenic in nature because they are provided with the capsule or slimy layer like structure. It helps the bacteria to adhere to its environment or to the other bacteria. Then it also allows the bacteria to stick to a large number of substances including tooth and enamel and hospital equipments also. It allows the bacteria to grow as a biofilm, for example, dental plaque. It helps to prevent the loss of water and nutrients. So these many are the functions of the glycocalyx, which is a carbohydrate layer. Middle layer is the cell wall. It lies immediately below the glycocalyx. It provides the bacteria specific structure and shape also. The main function of the cell wall is the protection from the lysis, protection from the adverse climatic conditions. Then certain drugs, certain antibiotics like penicillin, they can destroy the cell wall very easily, and because of cell lysis, cell can get die. For that reason, this penicillin is a bactericidal in action. Then it composed primarily of peptidoglycan layer. The basic structure of the cell wall it consists of the peptidoglycan layer. This peptidoglycan layer, it is made up with the two repeating subunits. First is the N-acetyl muramic acid NAM, and second is the N-acetyl glucosamine, that is NAG. NAM and NAG, these are the short forms which will be very easy for all of you to remember. NAM and NAG get covalently bond with each other and form a glycan chain. The adjacent glycan chains are held together by tetrapeptide chains attached to each NAM. Bacteria are lumped into two groups based upon the staining of their cell wall. This staining process is innovated by Hans Christian Gram it gives a differentiation of the bacterial cell into gram positive and gram negative as a two types. So in the result of gram staining, the group of bacteria that get stained violet in color are known as gram positive bacteria, whereas the group of bacteria that get stained pink in color or red in color is known as a gram negative in nature. Then in case of gram positive bacteria, what is exact difference between gram positive and gram negative? Cell wall composed of thick layer of peptidoglycan. So we have studied the structure of peptidoglycan. It consists of the NAM and NAG. These subunits, alternative subunits, get covalently bind together and form a peptidoglycan layer. So this peptidoglycan layer is very thick layer present in the gram positive bacterial cell, and there is a narrow periplasmic space. Gram positive bacteria are more permeable but less susceptible to the lysis because peptidoglycan is present. Two molecules beside peptidoglycans are commonly found, that is teichoic acid, which bind together layer of peptidoglycan, and lipoteichoic acid link the peptidoglycan layers to the cell membrane. Now in case of gram negative bacteria, cell wall composed of thin layer of peptidoglycan, there is a wider periplasmic space, and gram negative bacteria are less permeable but more susceptible to the lysis. So this is exact difference. You will understand the difference between gram positive and gram negative cells. So easily you can see here the peptidoglycan layer content is more in the gram positive bacteria, and cell membrane is present below that peptidoglycan layer. Teichoic acid and lipoteichoic acid content is also present in the gram positive cells, whereas in case of gram negative cells, you can see that the peptidoglycan layer is very thin, and above that one more outer membrane layer is present. Porins are specific proteins which are facilitate the cell for the entry of the water molecules. Then below the peptidoglycan layer, you can see the cell membrane. Cell membrane also contain certain proteins, intrinsic proteins and integral proteins. So that part we are going to learn when we will learn the structure of structure of cell membrane. So this cell wall is responsible for giving multiple shapes to the bacterial cell. So the four basic shapes are coccus, that is round shaped bacteria, then bacillus, that is a rod shaped bacteria. Vibrio is also one of the very important shape. It is a rod shape but little slightly bent rods are known as a vibrio. In spirillum, it is a spiral shaped bacteria. So the shape of any bacterial cell, it is because of the cell wall. Then cell membrane, it is composed of primarily phospholipids. Membrane proteins provide the membrane with structure and functionality. Mesosomes are inward projections of the cell membrane. These mesosomes help to increase the surface area of the membrane activities. Also functions primarily in controlling the movement of substances inside and outside of the cell. In case of internal structure, cytoplasm, it is a fluid structure which is present inside the cell. Cytoplasm is sticky in nature and primarily water containing dissolved nutrients and waste, everything is present inside the cytoplasm. It serves as a site for arena for numerous metabolic reactions. So cytoplasm is the main arena where numerous metabolic reactions takes place. So then chromatin body or nucleoid which is also known as a genetic material which is present in the prokaryotic cell. So we know that the DNA which is present in the prokaryotic cell, it is freely floating DNA inside the cytoplasm. So it is a double stranded circular coiled DNA present in the cytoplasm, freely floating inside the cytoplasm. So it is a single DNA. This DNA is a double stranded single copy of DNA. It serves as a single chromosome. Then along with this double stranded circular coiled DNA, one more extra copy of DNA which is smaller as compared to the main genetic material present in the prokaryotic cell is known as a plasmid. So how we can explain plasmid? The definition of plasmid is it is extra chromosomal genetic material. It is arranged in the isolated loops or sometimes attached to the chromatin body. They are produced and passed on to the offsprings. So that pili-like structure that we have studied in the external appendages of the bacterial cell, that pili-like structure helps in forming the bridge between two bacterial cells. For example, the pili structure present on two different bacteria attached to each other. When these two pilis get attached to each other, it forms the bridge like structure between two bacterial cell, and this bridge is it works as a tube. This tube like structure helps one bacteria to transfer its plasmids from that cell to the next cell. Okay, so they are reproduced and passed on to the offsprings with the help of pili like structure. So the conjugation is the term that we use for the complete phenomenon. So often certain protective traits it gives, like protective traits in the sense these plasmids provides antibiotic resistance to the prokaryotic cell, and if suppose one cell is provided with the plasmid like structure which is giving antibiotic resistance, so that particular plasmid, that particular cell can form a different copies, many copies of that plasmid, and that copies, extra copies of the plasmid, particular bacteria can send to another bacterial cell where these plasmids are lacking. So that protective traits can avail by using this plasmid like structure. Most common example is the antibiotic resistance which is present in the prokaryotic cell. It is because of the plasmids. So ribosomes are freely floating ribosomes are present inside the cytoplasm, and ribosomes are the 70S type. S stands for the Swedberg's unit. Swedberg was a scientist who innovated this Swedberg unit. The site of protein synthesis, protein production is a ribosome. It consists of the ribosomal RNA and proteins. It consists of the two subunits, smaller subunit and larger subunit. Smaller subunit is a 30S and larger subunit is a 50S. So this 30S and 50S two subunits comes together to form the complete 70S type of the ribosome. Then inclusion bodies. So inclusion bodies are the aggregations of the nutrients. It is a temporary storage of the nutrients in certain bacterial cells, and other substances also bacterial cells stored in the form of inclusion bodies. And some inclusion bodies are with membrane and some inclusion bodies are without membrane. It allows the cell to go for long period in absence of essential nutrient, because it is a storage form of the food. And if suppose the cell is on starvation, if suppose the nutrient medium is not present in the surrounding of the cell, at that time prokaryotic cells utilize, bacterial cell utilize the store food material inside that inclusion bodies. So this is all about the prokaryotic cell. I hope you all understood this concept very nicely.